Can we get real for a second? Captain Holden slouched in his chair, his fingers drumming against the cold steel table. Across from him sat his crew, hard-hitting guys with nerves of steel, yet there was an undercurrent of tension. They were docked at an Alliance station deep in Trakan territory, surrounded by aliens who watched them with a mix of confusion and disdain. The reason? Humanity wasn't exactly what the Trakan Alliance had been expecting. Holden leaned forward, voice low. I know these lizard-skinned Trakan think we're the softest species in the galaxy, but I'll be damned if I let us go down as a weak link in this operation. Sitting across the table, grizzled Marine Sergeant Dak Groves chuckled darkly. Let him underestimate us, Cap. Gives us an edge. Lieutenant Amrith, the team's tactical expert, gave a dry smile, his dark eyes sharp. Can't wait to see their faces when the shooting starts. For weeks they had trained under Trakan command for what's being called the final offensive, against the Growth, a brutal species of invaders known for their devastating strength and technological advances. The Alliance had assembled a fleet of soldiers from nearly every species: Trakans with their stands, with their stone-like exoskeletons, Drylaxians with speed unmatched in the galaxy, Omlians with their plasma-slinging appendages. Each species had been given its task based on its unique strengths and humanity, assigned to recon. Holden grit his teeth, recon, as if they were some timid species best suited for sneaking around in the shadows. Let's show them how wrong they are. The Battle of Omlo 6 began just as the Trakan strategists had planned. The Alliance forces swarmed into the Gryalthian-held planet, their attack coordinated across land, sea, and air. The Trakan frontliners hit first, shields shimmering as plasma fire ricocheted off them. The Omlians swept in with precision strikes from their plasma guns, while the Drylaxians flanked at blinding speed, leaving trails of molten ground in their wake. The humans, meanwhile, had been told to stay back until their reconnaissance capabilities were acquired. Recon my ass, muttered Holden, his rifle clutched in hand as they watched the front lines. These Growths look pretty well armored. I bet we could do some damned. Dake smirked, tapping his grenade belt. But they're not used to good old-fashioned explosions either. Plasma's fancy and all, but it doesn't quite have that satisfying boom. Alden weighed their options. They could stick to the plan and wait for orders, or they could break ranks and jump in, proving that humanity was more than just recon. His decision didn't take long. Boys were moving out. Give the Trakan something to talk about. The Growthian forces were like a wall of steel and scales nearly 7 feet tall with claws the size of human hands. They'd been mopping up the Alliance soldiers as if they were paper targets. But then, suddenly, something strange happened. A group of humans charged, guns blazing, their voices loud and fierce. Holden's team opened fire with ballistic rifles, the kind that relied on solid bullets instead of energy cells. The Growth hadn't seen this kind of weapon in years. Bullets tore through the air, slamming into the Growth with a kinetic force that energy weapons lack. Growthians stumbled back, some of them looking down at their newly punctured bodies in confusion. You like that, huh? Dak taunted, lobbing a grenade toward a trio of advancing Growth. The blast sent them reeling, their thick armor shattered. Lieutenant Dreg positioned himself at a higher vantage point, a sniper rifle in hand. He took a deep breath, aimed and fired, watching with satisfaction as a Growth commander went down. Suddenly a Growth warrior spotted Dreg's position and bellowed, charging toward him. But just as he was within striking distance, Dreg swung around and fired point blank. The warrior fell backward, stunned. The Omlians nearby, who had been ducking behind their plasma shields, stared in awe. One of them, an officer named Torvak, raised a slim tentacle in what looked like admiration. Human Dreg, yes, that was remarkable. But Dreg simply nodded, his focus still sharp. Stick close, Torvak. We're going to need every weapon we've got. As the humans fought, the tide began to turn. Their unorthodox tactics, grenades, ballistic weapons, hand-to-hand combat were confusing the Growth, who had never faced such unrelenting aggression. But Captain Holden barked orders, moving from one position to another, coordinating his men as they pushed deeper into the Growth ranks. Stay tight, cover each other's flanks, and let's show these lizards why they don't mess with humanity. Growth forces began to retreat in confusion. The humans pursued relentless, taking back ground that the Trakan Omlians had struggled to hold. Then, just as victory seemed within reach, a Growth war machine, a hulking mech bristling with plasma cannons, appeared on the battlefield, mowing down Alliance troops with ruthless efficiency. Dak cursed, ducking behind cover as the mech's cannons blasted chunks out of the ground. Well, ain't that a sight? Looks like it'll take more than bullets to crack that thing. Holden narrowed his eyes, an idea forming. Dreg, think you can get up high with the launcher? Dreg nodded, already running to a ridge. From there he took aim, targeting a weak spot near the mech's joints. He fired, the missile streaking across the sky and hitting its mark. The mech's leg gave out, sending it crashing to one knee. "That's it," Holden shouted. "Dick, let's finish this." They charged, dodging plasma blasts as they closed the distance. Dak lobbed grenades at the mech's exposed power core, each explosion sending sparks flying. Finally, Holden leaped onto the mech, tearing open a hatch and tossing in the last grenade. They barely had time to jump clear before the mech exploded, lighting up the battlefield in a fiery burst. The Growth forces, stunned and leaderless, began to retreat. Holden's team regrouped, breathing heavily but alive and victorious. After the battle, the Trakan commanders approached Holden and his men, their eyes wide with something akin to respect. The Trakan general, a massive creature named Drakar, approached Holden, his voice deep and resonant. "Captain Holden, you and your recon team fought with unexpected valor. Your tactics were unorthodox." Holden suppressed a grin. "We aimed to surprise, sir." Drakar gave a curt nod. "Perhaps we have underestimated humanity. Today you have shown us that there is strength in your species." Holden straightened, giving a respectful salute. "We're just getting started." As the humans returned to their barracks, the whispers of their victory spread throughout the Alliance. Humanity had proven its worth, and now they were no longer seen as the weak link, but as an essential force. In the coming days, the Alliance would send out new orders. Humanity wasn't to be relegated to recon anymore. They were to be frontline fighters, and for Holden and his team, that meant one thing: the galaxy had just gotten a lot more interesting. As they settled in for the night, Dak chuckled, turning to Holden. "Think they'll ever doubt us again, Cap?" Holden grinned, a fierce gleam in his eye. "Let him try. We'll be ready. The galaxy had underestimated humanity once. It wouldn't make that mistake again."